Well, howdy. Welcome back once again to the Double M Farm. Getting ready to pull Little Red, the Harbor Freight trencher, back down to the pond site to start some more digging on phase one of the pond. Finally gotten a day without rain. I'm hoping it's not too wet. Hope I don't sink when I get down there, but we're going to give it a try. Haven't been able to dig in several days. If you haven't seen any of the pond bill videos with the Harbor Freight trencher, I invite you to go on our channel and look at our content, and you'll see them. They're numbered part 1 through, I think we're up to 10 or 11. But it's been a struggle here for the past week or so with all of the rain. Just haven't been able to get much done. But I was just greasing up and getting ready to pull the trencher down there. And I was thinking about some recent things I've seen on social media about the Harbor Freight trenchers and other towable trenchers. And so I thought, well, let's do a quick walk around and just an honest assessment of the Harbor Freight trencher. Those of you who have been following my channel know I've had this trencher. I'm in my 4th year with this trencher. And up until a couple of weeks ago when I lost a tooth because the cotter key came out, I have not broken anything on this trencher. And I may be one of the very few who owns one of these who hasn't broken anything. And some will say, well, you haven't pushed it hard enough. Well, no, I have pushed it. I have done a lot of digging. I'm on 7 acres at the base of the Blue Ridge Mountains. Nothing but hard red clay, limestone, rock, gravel. I've dug in some hard stuff. I've done a lot of hard digging. But the secret to using this machine is listening to the machine. The machine will talk to you, and I'm not talking about the squeal you get when you max out one of the hydraulic cylinders. That's a normal bypass valve kicking in, letting the fluid escape when it's reached its max. Is that a warning? Yeah, you could take it as a warning that, okay, I need to back off. It's gone as far as it'll go. But that's not what I'm talking about when I say listen to the machine. When I talk about listening to the machine, I'm more talking about the stress levels, listening to the engine, listening to the actual steel. You will hear pops, groans, moans, whatever you want to call them. My son's a mechanic. When he works on a vehicle and services it, he says it then runs happy. Well, you can tell. If you learn your machine and listen to it, you can tell when it's running happy. And that's what I mean about listening to your machine, knowing when you've reached the point that you need to back off. And that's what I try to do. And sometimes it means I take a little bit longer to get a job done. But things I don't do, when I'm digging, and you'll see it in my videos, I try when I'm digging, if I'm digging, say, a 4-foot deep ditch, I don't reach down and try to dig 4 feet with one scoop. Start at the top of the ground, dig off, throw it to the side, and dig off again until you reach 4 foot. Take it in layers. And that's not just true with a Harbor Freight trencher or any other towable trencher. That's true with any backhoe. Why stress the machine beyond what it needs to be stressed? If you're in a hurry, this isn't the machine for you in the first place. This is probably, of all the towables, this may be the slowest one in terms of boom speed, dipper speed, and curl. The curl is probably the fastest on the machine. I guess that's the way it's piped. The curl also, when I talk about curl, I'm talking about the curling of the bucket. That also is the strongest. If you're breaking roots, when you hook the root with the bucket, don't try to break it by using the dipper, by curling the dipper in, or by raising the boom. Try to break it by curling the bucket. You will find that to be the strongest. And again, listen to your machine, because when you curl the bucket, you're pushing that cylinder out. And obviously, if you overstress it, you can bend that cylinder. I have seen it happen with other people's machines. But again, it's just listening to your machine. We're up to almost 5 minutes. I don't want this to be too long. As far as the machine itself, my personal opinion, and many will not agree, My personal opinion is for the amount of money invested, this right here is the best of all the towable trencher slash backhoes. Some of them may be stronger, better, faster. I don't know. I've never run them. This is the only one of the towables I've ever run. I've watched a lot of videos on them. But I also know they cost a lot more. You're still looking at around $3,000 for this machine. And I hear people say, I wish they would do this to it. I wish they would do this to it. That would improve it. Yeah, there's things they could do when they manufacture them to improve them. But what's that going to do? That's going to drive the price up. My personal opinion, I prefer them to leave the machine like it is. Let me buy it at $3,000 and then let me spend the amount of money I want to spend upgrading it. And if you followed my channel, you know my upgrades. I'm still stock on the engine and pump. I got the second set of tires and axles and bolted on a Reese receiver tube to store them in. I originally had my outriggers bolted down with U-clamps to the floor, and I got tired of losing the nuts to the U-clamps at job sites. So I just got me 2 pieces of 4-inch steel tube, about a foot long, and welded them onto the plate. And I slide my outrigger in that and pin it, and then the upper part of the outrigger is slid on and pinned. Makes a great place to store those and very quick and simple to remove. So things like that, I prefer to spend my... I've still got less than $4,000 in this machine. Added the little ammo box to it to store tools in. That's really... People have asked me about the tube that you see, the little red tube that you see there, sons and mice, that you see right there. I've got that there, so when I'm working out in the middle of the hot sun, I've got a little umbrella, tractor umbrella, then I could stand up in that and be in the shade. Now I'm getting close to 70. I kind of like being in the shade sometime. Those are really the only quote-unquote improvements I've done to it. If you're really wondering about the quality of this machine, and people will say, well, it breaks down. I see all these videos about them breaking down. Do this, and I'm sure many of you, if you're watching this, you're interested, and you've probably already done it. Go on YouTube or the internet, not just YouTube, any internet, Google, whatever, and type in towable trencher slash backhoe. Not Harbor Freight towable trencher slash backhoe. Just leave off Harbor Freight. Type in tow. That way you'll bring up Harbor Freight. You'll bring up, I don't know, Bestco, DR, the one that Northern used to sell. I don't think they sell them anymore, and I can't think of what it was called. There's the Kel-Free overseas. My God, in China, there's about 20 different brands of these things that aren't shipped worldwide that are used locally. They'll all come up. And most of them are anywhere from $5,000 on up. This one is still the most economical from a price standpoint. And for those who say, well, yeah, it's cheaper, but it breaks all the time. Well, if you do the search I just said do, you're going to find out that all the other ones break too. There are hundreds of videos of the Bestco, the Kel-Free, all of them having problems. It's a machine. It's going to break. The big key is 90% of the time when it breaks, it's operator error. You pushed it too far. You did something it wasn't designed to do. Sometimes things break. Some of the things that Harbor Freight, even at its better price, are better at is the boom. Not the dipper, but the boom itself. This is one of the strongest booms of all the towable trenchers. I love this design right here. The 2 pieces of steel with the hydraulics sandwiched in them. There are some, I know the Kel-Free is one, and there are some others, that the hydraulic is forked. And instead of having 2 plates, it's got 1 plate welded in the center, and the hydraulics fork around it and pin to it. So instead of 2 solid plates, you've got 1 plate. I have seen numerous videos of those breaking on the Kel-Frees. And some of the operators said they broke without being under a lot of stress. They just broke. Well, you know what? Things break. That doesn't mean the Kelfrey's a bad machine. It just means things break. So, my honest assessment of the Harbor Freight Trencher, since that's what the title of this video is that for the amount of money spent, I think, in my personal opinion, that it is the best towable trencher on the market. And if you want it to be stronger, faster, then spend extra money. You may wind up spending as much as you would have if you had bought a Besco or something else. And if that's the case, and you decide, well, let's just go ahead and buy the Besco, then fine, buy the Besco, or the Kelfrey, or whatever else. But if you're looking economical and still do the same work, as long as you're careful and understand what you're doing and what you're working with, my opinion, this is the way to go. I honestly have a hard time finding anything bad to say about the Harbor Freight Trencher. So there you go. I'm up over 11 minutes, and I was trying my best to keep it short and sweet. Get off my soapbox. I'm not trying to say it's the best, but I do, in my opinion, believe for the amount of money invested and the amount of work I get out of it, this is the best piece of equipment I've ever bought for my farm. So for what it's worth, that's my opinion. You're all welcome to yours, and I appreciate your comments. Please don't get ugly and nasty and dirty. I'll just delete you and block you. But if you have an honest opinion, please share it. That's why we're here. And to each his own, and let everyone enjoy their machine, and we'll all have fun with them, because they definitely are fun to use. So I appreciate you visiting us here on the Double M Farm, and I hope to talk to you again real soon.